Okay, today I'm going to show you one of the systems which I find it very promising, and I would be happy to see if this can be coded and automated so that we both can benefit from it. But just let me tell you one thing, that this is not my best system. The system which I actually follow, I'm actually testing the system which I will be telling today. I'm still demo testing on an account. I'll show you the performance later, how it is doing, but my best system which I'm testing on the real money is different. It is more complex. So I did not choose that system to demonstrate because it is far more complex to describe the logic and convert into in an automated system. But we can go for it later. We can see the possibilities. So for the time being, let me explain this system a little bit. So here we have a daily chart of Euro USD, Euro US dollar, and we have just one indicator plotted. This indicator is a custom indicator. I have this one, this can be shared. It's called JMA Slope. Here it is. JMA Slope means JMA is a special kind of non-lag moving average. The full form of it is Zurich moving average. But this indicator is not plotting the moving average as such. It is plotting the slope of the moving average. So for example, this is 5-period moving average slope. So which means between this one and between this one, between these two bars, the value has come down. So value was here 0.128, value has come down here at 0.0068. That means the slope of the moving average is downwards. Okay, but we do not have to uh, go, into that details and look into those things, but just it is what it is plotting. It is plotting the particular slope or the direction of the moving average, how it is moving. Now, to develop a system out of this, there are certain identifications necessary. We have to identify some points which will be defined, which has to be very properly defined, and that will be um, used in the logic making, EA making process. So first thing we have to decide is we have to define what is peak and what is valley. Now, I call something a peak, a point or a bar a peak, when its value is higher than the previous value and its value is also higher than the next value. So it is somewhere standing here as a mountain peak. So this is we call peak. Let us see another example of peak. This one, this particular bar here. It is higher than the previous value. It is also higher than the next value. So this is a peak. These are actually easy to identify, but the difficult ones are something like a difficult one of peak is this one, this particular case here. Now, this is a red bar. This is actually going downwards, but still it is a peak because this value is higher than the previous value and this value is also higher than the next value. So that's a peak. So a peak can form above the midline, above the zero line, which can be a green bar. A peak can form below the line also, here in this case, which can be a red bar. So let's see some more example. This is a green bar, this is a peak because this is higher than this and this is higher than this bar, the next bar. Let us see a red peak. Probably this is a peak probably, yeah, because this particular bar, this is minus 0015, which is higher than this bar, which is minus 0017, and this is also higher than this bar, which is minus 0029. So this is a peak, but this is not a peak. Why? Because this is not higher than the previous bar. The previous bar was 0005 and this is 0026 minus, so this is not higher than the previous one, this is lower, so this is not a peak. Similarly, just the opposite rules apply for the valleys. Valleys are just rivers, like this one. In case of valley, the bar value has to be lower than the previous bar as well as lower than the next bar. So this is minus 58, this is lower than this one, minus 54, and this is lower than this bar, minus 48. So this is a valley. Pretty straightforward. It's very easy to spot the valley when the bar is red. But what happens when the bar is green? Can we spot a valley here somewhere? Okay, this one. This particular bar, this is a valley because its value is lower than the previous bar. This is 19 and this is 7, and this is also lower than the next bar. This is 74 and this is 7. So this is particular a valley, right? If these are defined, then we move into the logic of the strategy. So the logic of the strategy is it's called a reverse divergence method. What is a reverse divergence? Reverse divergence is basically when price is moving in this direction and the indicator is moving in this direction, that's called reverse divergence, not the opposite. When the price is moving up and the indicator is moving this way, this combination is not a reverse divergence. This combination is called a classical divergence, a classic divergence example. For this strategy, we will not consider classic divergence strategy. We have to only look for reverse divergence strategy. The indicator has to go up, price has to go down, or the reverse. Indicator has to go down. Okay, let us go step by step without confusing it. So let us take this first example. How can we stop a reverse divergence involving the peaks? So in this case, what we saw that from one peak, first this set of system is only valid for peaks. So we define a peak here. We have defined this bar as a peak. This is low, this is also low, so this is a peak. So once this peak is defined, we have to see the upticks, the up bars. Up bars means the bar which are higher than the previous values. Because we are comparing with peak, so every up bar will be compared to this peak when it is formed. We are not looking at this. This has not formed. Just this bar has formed. Now we are starting to identify a bar which is higher than this peak. So the bar has to be higher than this peak, and simultaneously price has to be going downwards. So the price will be downwards. Indicator value will go above the last peak. That is a classic example of reverse divergence. That means the trend is intact, the trend is downwards, but the indicator is showing otherwise. So there is a divergence exists, which means this trend will continue. So the trade will be taken in the direction of the price movement. Something like that. I cannot find a bar here which is higher than this, so I have to look for another example. Let me find a quick example here. Mm, yeah, probably we have one here. So let's say identified this peak. So this is a peak here identified. Now value going down, again down, down, no problem, let it go down. Now the count starts from here. This is the first up bar. Value have been going down for some time, and then this is the first uptick, up bar. But this is not above this peak. Remember what we mentioned? For a divergence to happen, it has to be like this. So this is not happened yet on this bar. This has not happened. This one, fine, uptick or up bar, but still it is not above the peak. Next one, still it is not above the peak. This one, this particular bar we got at the end of this day, we got this kind of shape. So this is matching with this. So we got a upslope trend here, direction here, like this, meeting our criteria, and then we consider the price between these two bar, the closing price of these two bar. This is on the closing. So this is the bar, and which one? This one is the bar. This is the closing price. So here we have classic example of a reverse divergence. Between these two bars, we have a reverse divergence form where the indicator is up, price is down. So if these conditions are meeting, that means this downtrend, this is just a pullback. The price trended downwards, it has pulled back. Now we are expecting the price to further go down along with the main trend. So that's the whole logic, and that's the first basic step of this trading strategy. Once these things are clearly understood, then we will move on to the next phase, which is valley versus valley. How does that work? But let us first concentrate on the peak things, and of course trade management, money management, those things will come at a much later stage. But for the time being, it is more important for you to understand the concept. So I'll finish this video here, and just we'll see that how clearly you understood this thing, and any confusion I'll try to answer that in the email or maybe in the next video. Thank you.